Now, of course, some movies can bridge the divide between summer sensation and serious awards contender, in which case a well-timed DVD release can help refresh the voters' memories. This technique is referred to as pulling a Moulin Rouge, in honour of the summer hit which became a serious Oscar contender thanks to a well-timed, high-profile winter DVD launch boasting high-kicking dancers prancing around on the roof of a Sunset Strip hotel. Now, remember I said that Golden Globes voters can have their heads turned by big names. Well, the fact is that stars are the stuff of Hollywood, and Academy members are similarly impressed by shiny eyes and teeth. So, if you're a film producer with your eyes on an Oscar, it's time to check your star's publicity clause. Hollywood still rings with tales of Albert Finney grumpily refusing to press the flesh for Erin Brockovich and thereby losing out on an Oscar statuette. So, if you're going to the trouble of organising a screening of your film specially for Oscar voters, then bring along the whole cast. Get them to introduce the movie, stand there and smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. And once they're talking, don't stop there. Get them out on the road. Get them to every major city in America, on every major chat show, to reel out the same old anecdotes again and again and again. A successful Oscar campaign will be as highly orchestrated as a military undertaking, with occupation, subversion and surrender being the key words. And any great military campaign requires a brilliant leader. So step forward studio executive Harvey Weinstein, arguably the most determined Oscar campaigner on the planet. His Oscar campaigns are infamous, they make headlines, not always for the right reasons, but Weinstein was one of the first to realise the power of targeting the so-called somnambulant majority, those retired filmmakers who are still members of the Academy, now living in places like Boise, Idaho, who don't get out much, don't read the trades, don't really go to the cinema, but who'll be willing to watch your new film on VHS or DVD, which you have handily mailed to them. It's a controversial policy, but a brilliant one, which soon became common practice. So there we have my patented formula for Oscar greatness, a combination of psychology, maths and geography. Back to me. And now, animation. Now, predictably at the Oscars, 2 out of the 3 nominees are 3D digital animations. The winner will almost certainly be Toy Story 3, which is the first film I've seen which made me forget I was watching a 3D movie. Until, that is, I saw it again in 2D and realised how much brighter, clearer and generally better it was without the bloody silly glasses. My own favourite animation, however, is a far more old-fashioned affair, a ravishing hand-drawn romance which reminds us that animation isn't just for kids. The Kermode Award for Best Animated Feature goes to Chico and Rita.
Hagamos un trato, Rita. Olvidemos todo.
De acuerdo. Yo me olvido de ti y tú te olvidas de mí.
Coño, chica.
This is more than just a love story between piano player Chico and sultry singer Rita. It's a wonderful portrait of the time when African and Latin rhythms first began to seep into jazz, brilliantly directed by Fernando Trueba and designed by Javier Mariscal.
I wanted to make a movie with my friend Xavi because I like his work, his painting, his drawings, his illustrations, so the only way we can collaborate is making an animation movie.
We love the Latin music, and Fernando, he has a lot of Grammys to produce fantastic records, so it's evident we mix animation and music.
And for him, I think also to portray this contrast between New York and Havana was a great thing for him to do, drawing and painting.
Ya tienes lo que querías.
We are very happy to have the Kermode Award for Best Animation for Chico and Rita. Xavi lives in Barcelona, I live in Madrid, so he's going to spend 1 week with everyone and taking the train every weekend.
Qué chapuza.
2010 was the year that filmmakers challenged the boundaries of the documentary format, with Are They, Aren't They oddities like Joaquin Phoenix in I'm Still Here, or Banksy's Oscar-nominated Exit Through the Gift Shop. Indeed, one of my favourite documentaries of the year, The Arbor, probably doesn't even qualify as a documentary at all. Telling the true story of the troubled life of playwright Andrea Dunbar, This film uses sound interviews with her family and friends, which are then lip-synced by actors to extraordinary genre-bending ends.
I won't ever use my mum dying as an excuse for anything that I've ever done in my life.
But my winner in this category goes to another film which blurs the line between drama and documentary, albeit in a very different way. Telling the true story of the rise and fall of proto-punk pub rockers Dr. Feelgood, the Kermode Award for Best Documentary goes to Julian Temple for Oil City Confidential.
It was scary, and I think that scariness is what appealed to a young audience, and out of that young audience came a load of punk groups.
You could see the bands would come and check us out. They put on a show. Didn't look like they was acting, they was just going for it. Got the hairs on the back of your neck going.
We met Johnny Rotten and people like that. Yeah, they were fans.
Joe Strummer goes along to the Windsor Castle one night, looks in the window, and he's riveted by what he sees.
So, Julian Temple, for your wonderful work on Oil City Confidential, congratulations, your Kermode Award.
Richard Nixon or Andy Mackay, maybe, but not you, surely.
I'm going for Richard Nixon. The Feelgoods paved the way for punk groups like the Sex Pistols and the Clash. Temple's film re-establishes their historical importance, as well as delving into the mysteries of their birthplace, Canvey Island. It's a really cinematic piece. Tell me about how you approach it, because it doesn't look like a traditional documentary.
The idea was to try and get beyond having to be a fan of the band to enjoy the film, and the place was a great way into that. It's one of the most visual places you can find in England. You know, it's this strange mixture of a decaying holiday resort in the shadow of these oil terminals.
One of the reasons I love the documentary is it uses clips from very well-chosen movies. Tell me how you chose those clips.
One of the reasons is very little footage of Dr. Feelgood, so
yeah.
How do you tell the story? You've only got a couple of gigs, you know, and one interview from that time. So you're trying to bring this story of this band alive. You've got to kind of invent ways of telling the story, and I became very fascinated with that. They just capture a kind of London underworld that did make sense in terms of the Feelgoods' oil city, this gangster, you know, Delta blues, a hard-edged urban noir vibe in there.
Please don't take...
You've made feature films, dramas, and you've made documentaries and rock documentaries. And actually, it's quite hard to distinguish in your work sometimes between what's a documentary and what's a drama. You do pretty much look at them the same way, don't you?
I see it as cinema. You know, I don't look at these things as things to go on television. I look at them as big adventures, visual adventures, and I look at the music as only a kind of window into how people interact. You know, the social, cultural aspect of it is more important than, you know, how many albums they made. I hate rockumentaries, actually. That image of some fat old engineer at a huge console, you know, or wrinkly old rock stars in armchairs, you know.
Well, for making the best anti-rockumentary of the year, congratulations. I love the movie.
Good to see you.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Now, it's round about this time that a significant proportion of the Oscar audience will make their excuses and nip to the loo, because it's time for Best Foreign Language Film. But don't worry, they won't miss that much, because true to form, Oscar has managed to overlook many of the best foreign language films around. Films like the delightfully metaphysical Thai offering Uncle Boon Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. Uncle Boon Me beat all comers from around the globe to win the coveted Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Did it make Oscar's shortlist? Did it Eckers like? But my award goes to another film which won big at Cannes but was similarly snubbed at the Oscar nominations. I'm very proud to say that the Kermode Award for Best Film not in the English language goes to Of Gods and Men.
Alors vous allez nous donner des médicaments?
Nous manquons de médicaments. Tous les jours, nous soignons une centaine de nos frères musulmans.
Assez! Vous n'avez pas le choix.
Si. J'ai le choix.
The film is based on the true life story of French Cistercian monks based in Algeria. When the political climate turns against them, they're faced with a life or death choice: to continue their religious order or leave and abandon their flock. It's a spine-tingling, even transcendent drama from director Xavier Beauvoir and writer Etienne Comard.
The idea with Xavier was not to make an historical piece. The idea was more to be respectful to the spirit of the monks.
Partir, c'est fuir. Et abandonner le village aux terroristes.
Il faut le faire progressivement, pour éviter que le village soit inquiété.
There's not a lot of words sometimes in the film, so it was difficult to find the good faces and to just to compose them as a painting. It's a great honor to receive these achievements. I think Xavier and I would never know that we can have this kind of achievement here in London, so very, very proud of it.
Tu peux me traduire, j'aurais jamais pensé avoir un critique anglais sur ma cheminée. Ça.